on to the Browns. Here's what quarterback Baker Mayfield had to say in an interview with Complex Sports. I'd say the chatter doesn't matter. The expectations for us within the locker room last year were higher than what we accomplished outside the locker room. People threw us in the trash before the season. I wouldn't say that everybody wants to beat us. I think in the media and everything that comes with the hype around our team right now, people want to see us lose just because the hype is so real. Here's what Baker had to say about those comments just yesterday.
Yeah, no, I think we do have a target on our back just because of, all the, people we brought in here, where the culture's headed, our expectations as a whole, and people expect us to do well. So it's not like we're going to surprise people this year. They're going to come in and give us their best shot.
Begs the question, gentlemen, is Baker's confidence dangerous?
Nice, Kay.
Not at all. I love it. I had a few words for him when he was talking about Duke Johnson's situation on being traded and the money, but everything else, how he approaches the game, what he does on social media, what he does on camera when he's at baseball games, I love it. I want him to talk more trash. I grew up in the era. I was looking back at some of the best trash talkers, and coincidentally, these guys are some of the greatest of all time. Ali, as we know, he was the best with his words. He said, I'm not the greatest. I'm the double greatest. I don't just knock dudes out. I picked around. Larry Bird said, I don't care who guards me. Red, yellow, black. I don't just want a white guy guarding me. That's disrespectful to my game. How about that for a quote? And Jordan said there's no I in team, but there is in win. And the reason I picked that one last is because that's all Baker cares about. Like, Baker rarely talks about putting up 35 touchdowns. I want to compete as the best quarterback in the game. It's crazy. As cocky as we think he is, when has he ever talked about himself? It's always about the city, the team, and his teammates. So keep talking, keep building it up, because this is going to sound a little blasphemous. Yeah. He has the Jordan effect. Not just on his team, but on his city.
Were these quotes from Ali, Jordan, and Bird when they had won nothing?
I believe so, yeah. Ali was talking when he first got in the game.
They had no titles under their belts.
These guys were cocky from jump. That's how they got to where they got.
Kind of with Kay on this one when you asked that question, and I don't know either. I don't think, I don't know if Cassius Clay right out of the gate was talking when he was in Louisville at 18 years old, or if it was after he'd had that dominance. The reason Baker has a target on his back is because we're told that things are done this way, and that way is be quiet, don't be heard from, let your actions speak louder than your words. And for the most part of his career, he has defied that and yet backed it up every single time. I am fascinated to see how this season goes for the Cleveland Browns, perhaps more than any other team in the league, because as much as we in the media love hyping them up, there are a lot of people in the league who are grinning and rolling their eyes saying, who in that room has done anything? And that's not just a shot at Baker Mayfield. It's a shot at the head coach, who was a running backs coach last year. It's a shot at Odell Beckham, who's been to one playoff game in his career. It's a shot at Myles Garrett, who's never sniffed the playoffs in his career. It's a shot at everyone in that building who there is no tradition of winning over the last 20 years. So the NFL is watching. I'm watching. Baker Mayfield, I'm here for it. I host a morning television show with you three. I like when he talks because it's great content for us. But this thing, it is not a slam dunk. It is not a sure thing, and there are a lot of people around the league rooting for it to fail.
This guy's such a treasure. I mean that. And in so mmany ways, one of which is that there's a lot of people who can't stand him. Like, there's the polarizing. People are like, I hate your stupid mustache. I don't like your cockiness. I've still made my mind about what you do things you did in college. I love it. I could not invest more. I don't see cockiness. I don't see arrogance. I see the perfect amount of confidence, which is a really, really fine line. Guys, it's not like, you know how much hype he had at Oklahoma going into his last year? How much noise there was around that? A lot. And he's incredible. I know, Peter, they haven't proven it. That's why it's tough. If they'd all had Super Bowl rings and playoff wins, they're going to be fine.
They come out of the gates. They got a tough schedule. If they come out of the gates first 4 games and are 1-3, are we still singing the same?
We've never seen Baker get punched in the mouth.
I've never seen it. I've never seen Baker do anything but succeed.
We've never seen it where, Baker, you just threw 4 interceptions and you were yelling at your receiver on the sideline. I think he'll bounce back. I just believe in it. Don't you think, even when we watch clips of him, don't you get a contagious vibe through the screen about his confidence? I want to follow that guy. I'm not even on his team. I believe in him.
So if they start losing, do you think he still has this same confidence that he has in front of the public? He keeps that going, or is he quiet? What do you expect from him?
I think he'll be quiet.
Really?
I think he's very media savvy. Now, some might say he lashes out at radio hosts. I think that's all part of the plan. I think he likes to be fueled. I think if they start out 1-4 and it's not going well, I don't think we're going to hear a lot.
This is a bigger conversation, and it might even include race when we talk about it. But when Cam Newton was doing all this stuff, people were annoyed by it. People didn't love it. People didn't celebrate it. Baker Mayfield carries himself a little bit like Cam in that way. And yet there doesn't seem to be the pushback yet. I think if he doesn't succeed and if there is failures, you're going to see a lot of the same media criticism you saw from Cam Newton with stop the dancing, stop the talking.
Loud
mouth,
yeah.
go win and go earn it first. Yeah, Cam went on and had an MVP season, and I think silenced everyone. So
Great points.
very fascinated about not only Baker's season, the media perception of Baker, if it doesn't go swimmingly.
I'm fascinated about you and I and Eagle tonight.